study and the data. All of you doctors that are waiting for data, if 6 months down the line you actually found out that this data shows that this medication works, how about your patients that have died? You want a double-blinded study when people are dying? It's unethical. So, guys, we don't need to die. There is a cure for COVID.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, President Trump retweets a post that I created on Twitter. It's got over 1 million views. And then shortly after, Twitter deletes President Trump's tweet and suspends my account. We're going to talk about what this means, and we're going to cover some other major stories, including Attorney General William Barr was testifying before Congress today where he was badgered by people who obviously hate this country. We're going to look at that plus a whole lot more, so stick around and check it out. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. I'm your host, Craig. Today, we have a very special episode. It's going to be pretty simple. I always like to begin, though, by thanking all of you that have hit the subscribe button. Make sure you do that now if you haven't, and click that bell, and make sure you select the all box so you get notified as soon as all of these videos get posted. And don't forget to stick around to the end today of this episode, where we're going to do something we do every episode called God's Grace is Greater. It's a segment where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. And today's an important one for yours truly, since I'm the subject of, just incredible craziness that exists in this world, and we're all really subject to it. It's not just me. We're all in this together. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Quickly over the Q boards. We don't have any new Q posts, but just a quick reminder, this video is brought to you in part by Brave Browser. If you guys want to help support this channel, download it and try it for yourself. It's a great product. They have a built-in firewall and VPN, and they block the ads that make it impossible to even read through some of the regular articles that you would see on a normal basis, on the internet. So definitely check it out. It's a great product. I really encourage you guys to use the link in the description so they know I sent you. You can download it for your desktop, your laptop, your smartphone, whatever. It's free, and then they'll make a contribution to this channel when you get that. So go check it out. It's really a great product. I can't encourage you to use it anymore because it is something I enjoy. But here we are. This is a quick one. What we're going to do here today is we're going to talk about what happened on Twitter last night. A lot of you may have noticed that I put up a video that went viral and then got shared by the President of the United States. And then you'll notice that Twitter suspended my account, and I haven't been able to post since. And also Twitter has deleted the post that President Trump shared. So it's like we're living in a country where I'm starting to question, is this communist China, or is this the United States of America? Because the video, which still exists if you look for it, because I'm refusing to delete it right now, is this video right here. You can see it's already got 1.2 million views, and I would play it, but ultimately they've scrubbed this off Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So if I do play this video, they'll end up scrubbing this and probably hurting my channel. So I'll leave a link to it if you guys want to go watch it for yourself. But the gist of it was, we talked about it briefly in yesterday's video. I said to go watch it for yourself. And it's Dr. Emmanuel, frontline doctor who's seen hundreds of patients dealing with COVID. And she's basically making the claim that there is a cure for COVID, and it's basically hydroxychloroquine with zinc and azithromycin, I think. And obviously, this is not medical advice. Please consult your physician before you do anything. I'm not telling you anything about your medical, that's between you and your doctor, right? But this was giving hope to a nation that seemed more hopeless every day, right? These doctors coming forward, and, they had to come out this morning and do another press conference to address the fact that Twitter and YouTube and Facebook have been deleting their posts, and my posts, which I got from Breitbart. Obviously, I was watching this video, this press conference yesterday morning. I saw a short clip of this woman talking, and then, I decided that I wanted to put it up there because I thought it was important that we have free speech, and these doctors are exercising their free speech to say that everything we're being told by the news is a lie, which we already know. They lie to us. These people are criminals. These people are criminals, and they're abetting a mass attack on our country by, let's just say a possible bioweapon that got out of a Chinese lab. So I'm speechless. I'm tired. I've dealt with this all morning and all afternoon, and it's stressing me out. And I'm having, my own health issues I've talked about here on the channel briefly, that it just doesn't help with this kind of insanity and evil. But yeah, I figured I'd point it out. And then everybody, what happened was Adam Townsend, one of the guys over here on Twitter, ripped my video. So what he did was, I don't know if President Trump shared my exact video, the one with 1 million views. And this only happened overnight. So this was like very quickly. Or if he shared Adam Townsend's video, which was shared by Donald Jr. But Adam Townsend's video is basically, he ripped at my video and then reposted it. And he even apologized and said, he had to do it. And I don't care. I was just like, yeah, great. Get the word out. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to share it to get people to see it. I didn't think it was going to get 1 million views. And I didn't think they were going to suspend my Twitter account. I definitely didn't think that the President of the United States would retweet what I posted. But it all happened. And it all happened fairly quickly. Over 1 million views. And, so that's not the point, though. It's not like me bragging about getting retweeted by the president. It's really about freedom of speech in this country and where we're at, where it's like, who runs this nation? Is it the president of the United States, or is it Jack Dorsey in Twitterland, where these psychotic SJW lunatics think that they can police our speech and in the run up to an election, and they can force us to believe the lies that they spread every day, as they do work with the most dirty, underhanded criminal organizations like the Chinese Communist Party and the World Health Organization, things that President Trump's not only called out, but called out in a major fashion. And, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like I said, is this China, or do we live in communist China now? Is the internet basically run by the communists and their minions? Or is this still freedom? Do we have any freedom? Can we say what we want? I mean, people are being deleted off the platform every day, right? And you talk about them, you point it out, but then they just keep going, because these are all litmus tests for them to see how far they can go, right? So how many people can they just throw into the memory hole before people get upset? And I'm not just doing this because it affected me. I'm actually doing this because I'm starting to worry about this nation as a whole. And I'm worried about, you have violence on the streets. You have these thugs, these criminals, right, who are out marching and protesting, and they're not peaceful. They're violent. They are aggressive. They are engaged in criminal campaign of domestic terror across our nation. And, there's a lot of examples I could show you. President Trump's been trying to show the people, his press office is getting the videos out there, even on Capitol Hill today during the testimony from Attorney General William Barr, which you guys will watch clips of in a minute. They were asking him about this. When are we going to restore law and order? When are we going to restore law and order across the board? Why is it that there are criminals who are, just the most evil, vile people in the world, who are allowed to control us and allowed to hurt us on a regular basis, and to take away our free speech, remove our civil liberties, and treat us like second-class citizens for having an opinion? I mean, I don't care if it's Twitter's platform. They should literally just take Twitter away and make it a public, space. Because why are we allowing this to happen? They lulled us into this false sense of security by telling us that they weren't going to censor us, and then at the exact opportune moment that helps them the most, right for a 2020 major election, they're just deleting people. They're deleting your opinions. They're editorializing everything on their platform. You can't read any of these stupid Twitter what's happening trends without getting like anti-Trump crap and stuff that is just like beyond the pale. It's nakedly political. These people have an agenda, and they are fascists, and they are bigots, and they are censoring anyone who doesn't go lockstep in with their psychosis. Okay, so these people have lost their minds. They are crazy, and they are taking away our civil liberties. Their minions, their paramilitary wing, is marching through our streets, tearing down statues like the Maoists did when Chairman Mao took over. And if you guys don't know about the Red Guard, I mean, this is exactly what happened in history. I mean, we're going to look at some, like I said, video from today's testimony on Capitol Hill, and I'll show you guys a video, hopefully, at some point that'll expose the whole Red Guard situation and how it's exactly what's happening today. But how have we gotten here? Where did this? When did freedom just become an idea that's not real? When did my civil rights and my personal liberty just go out the window? And your personal liberty and your civil rights, not just me. I mean, all of us. Look at what they're doing to us. They're acting as fascistic dictators who think they can tell you what to think and what to say and what to do and how to act and how to live. So you're to put yourself under house arrest. You're to wear your face mask, even though there's really no science, and these doctors come out and say that really isn't even helpful, right? One of the doctors in this press conference, just to point it out, said the effect of wearing a face mask, even an N95 against this virus, is the equivalent of using a chain link fence to keep dirt out. You could throw some of the dirt at the fence, and the majority of it's going to get through, right? So unless you have M99 or whatever it is, the higher classification of face mask where they're like in a sealed suit, you're not doing anything. All you're doing is forcing people to bend the knee and to become mental slaves because they're under house arrest. You can't leave your house. You can't breathe because your face mask is literally suffocating you. Everybody, nothing's open. Everybody contacts you. So you have to have an ID to walk into a store. Right? I can't even go shopping in California because they want to take down my personal information so they can contact trace me. This is a psychotic nightmare. And I don't know. It's like Groundhog Day. I just keep waking up in the nightmare, and it's worse and worse every day. And then the president retweets you, and he gets deleted and censored. And then you get suspended for doing nothing other than sharing your freedom of speech, speaking. These people are psychotic criminals, and I don't know what's happening in this country. It's not the country I grew up knowing. These people are psychotic criminals. And it's like, how many other ways can I say it, right? So it's just, it's beyond me. As of right now, I'm still appealing the tweet because I won't. Here's the most insidious part about the whole thing, right? So instead of deleting your tweet for you, what Twitter does is something even more insidious and nefarious. They force you to delete your tweet after they tell you you've broken their ambiguous rules, which really don't have a clear definition and are 100% only imposed upon people who disagree with their narrative, who aren't drinking their Kool-Aid because they're all psychotic lunatics, right? Who believe in this psychotic, far extreme leftism, which requires groupthink and no freedom of thought, and you to just ignore your constitutionally guaranteed rights as a citizen of the United States. I mean, I'm not gonna delete it, because if I delete it, they're winning. I mean, that's the way I look at this. And I know a lot of people have tried to say I'm not going to delete it. I don't know what else to do. I might just have to lose this account because Twitter is acting as an irrational, like I said, I'm at a loss of words for how these people act. They're acting in a fascistic manner. They're acting in a way that restricts your freedom of speech. I mean, I've been not well from the stress that this job puts on you when you're attacked by these major companies, and who knows how many other ways they're attacking me. I'm sure there's a few more that aren't as easy to spot, but God help us all. I mean, that's all I know. So here, watch the clips from Congress today.
Spying. That one word. That's why they're after you, Mr. Attorney General. 15 months ago, April 10th, 2019, in a Senate hearing, you said this sentence, quote, "I think spying on a political campaign is a big deal." Spying on a political campaign is a big deal. It sure is. And since that day, when you had the courage to state the truth, they attack you. They've been attacking you ever since, every day, every week, for simply stating the truth that the Obama-Biden administration spied on the Trump campaign. 1 year ago, New York Times headline said this, 1 year ago, quote, "FBI sent investigator posing as assistant to meet with Trump aide in 2016. The FBI sent a young lady who used the name Azra Turk to meet Papadopoulos in September of 2016. They sent someone pretending to be someone else to meet a person associated with the Trump campaign. You know what they call that? You know what they call that? Spying. 1 month later, October 2016, they used the dossier to spy on Carter Page. The salacious, unverified dossier, Jim Comey's words, not mine. They took it to the FISA court, didn't tell the courts that the Clintons paid for it, didn't tell the court that the guy who wrote the document, Christopher Steele, had already communicated to the Justice Department that he was, quote, desperate to stop Trump from getting elected. And guess what? There were 15 more lies that they told the court. 17 in total. They're outlined by the Inspector General, each and every one of them in his 400-page report. But guess what? Chairman Nadler refuses to allow Mr. Horowitz to come here and testify and answer our questions about the 17 lies the Obama-Biden administration told to the secret court. The Obama-Biden DOJ opened the investigation in July. They used a secret agent lady to spy on Papadopoulos in August. They lied to the FISA court in September, and they did all this without any basis for launching the investigation to begin with. How do we know that? How do we know there was no basis? They told us. Now, they didn't want to tell us, but thanks to Rick Grinnell, who released the transcripts of their testimony, we now know there was no basis for them to start the investigation in the first place. Sally Yates, Rhodes, Samantha Power, Susan Rice. Here's what Susan Rice says. I don't recall intelligence I would consider evidence of a conspiracy. How about James Clapper? I never saw any direct evidence that the Trump campaign or someone in it was conspiring with the Russians to meddle with the election. Say that again. I never saw evidence that the Trump campaign was conspiring, and yet they investigate him. There was never a proper predicate. So why'd they do it? There was no reason to do it. Why'd they do it? They told us that too. Peter Strzok, August 2016, asked, is Trump going to win? What's his response? Remember, this is Peter Strzok. This is the guy who ran the investigation. No, he's not. We'll stop it. August, Peter Strzok says, we'll stop Trump. September, they spy on Papadopoulos. October, they use the fake dossier to lie to the court. But guess what happens in November? Guess what happens in November? November 8th, 2016, the American people get in their way. 63 million of them, to be exact. Now everything changes. Now the real focus is, wow, wait a minute, we didn't stop him. He won. Now what do they have to do? They have to do the cover-up. And who do they have to go after? Who's target number one in their cover-up? The former head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the guy who's about to become National Security Advisor to the President of the United States, Michael Flynn. They can't have him hanging around because he'll figure it out. So they decide to go after Michael Flynn. 3-star general, served our country for over 3 decades. And we know they went after him because they told us that too. Bill Priestep, head of counterintelligence at the FBI, the day they interview Flynn, January 24th, 2017, his notes say what? What's our goal? To get Flynn to lie so we can prosecute him or to get him fired? Think about what the Obama-Biden DOJ, what their administration did in the last month. The last month they were in power. January 4th, the agents investigating Flynn want to drop the case. Comey tells them no. January 5th, they have the now famous meeting in the Oval Office. Obama, Biden, Rice, Comey, all of them are in there. They're plotting their strategy, how they're going to get Flynn. January 6th, Comey goes up to Trump Tower, briefs President-elect Trump on the dossier that they already know is false, just so they can leak it to the press, and the press will write the story that they briefed the president on the dossier. And then, of course, January 24th, the day they go set up Michael Flynn in his interview. Guess what else they did? Guess what else they did between Election Day and Inauguration Day? That 2-month time, guess what else they did? 38 people, 49 times unmasked Michael Flynn's name. Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Biden, 7 people at the Treasury Department unmasked Michael Flynn's name, for goodness sake. And of course, Flynn resigns on February 13th. Flynn resigns on February 13th. Now the cover-up is complete. Flynn's gone. Everything's fine, they think, until May 9th, 2017, when President Trump fires Jim Comey. Now they got a problem again. The guy who was going to keep it all quiet, he's been fired. Now, how do they continue the cover-up? Real simple. Jim Comey leaks his memos with the express purpose of getting a special counsel appointed to investigate something they already know is not true. And that's exactly what happened. We get 2 years, 19 lawyers, 40 agents, 500 witnesses, 2,800 subpoenas, and a $30 million cost to the taxpayer, and they come back with nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so all they got left is to attack the Attorney General who had the courage to state the truth right from the get-go, the first time he testifies after he's confirmed. And you guys attack him every day, every week, and now you've filed articles of impeachment against him. It's ridiculous. He had the courage to do what no one else would do at the Justice Department. Sally Yates wouldn't call it spying. Jeff Sessions wouldn't do it. Rod Rosenstein wouldn't do it. Chris Wray sure as heck isn't going to do it. So, Mr. Attorney General, I want to thank you for having the courage to call it what it was, spying. I want to thank you for having the courage to say we're going to get the politics out of the Department of Justice that was there in the previous administration. And maybe most importantly, and we're going to talk about this in our side on questioning, I want to thank you for defending law enforcement, for pointing out what a crazy idea this defund the police policy, whatever you want to call it, is, and standing up for the rule of law. And frankly,
Mr. Jordan is recognized.
Mr. Attorney General, let's clear up a few things. Judge Berman-Jackson agreed with your Stone sentencing recommendation. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, she said, I am concerned 7 to 9 years would be greater than necessary. I agree with the defense and with the government's second memorandum. So it couldn't be more clear they agreed with you.
That's right.
Lafayette Square, would St. John's Church be standing today if you had not taken action?
Well, I think that was on Sunday. That was on Sunday night, and I think law enforcement did use tear gas. And my understanding is that night to clear the way so that the fire trucks could get in to save St. John's Church.
The church.
That was on Sunday night, though.
Understand the time frame, but would it be standing today if there had not been action taken by federal law enforcement and local law enforcement?
Right.
38 people unmasked Michael Flynn's name 49 times in a 2-month time frame. 7 people at the Treasury Department unmasked Michael Flynn's name. Is this an issue that Mr. Durham is looking into?
I've asked another U.S. attorney to look into the issue of unmasking because of, the high number of unmaskings and some that do not readily appear to have been in the line of normal business.
Wait a minute. So I want to be clear. So there is another investigation on that issue specifically going on at the Justice Department right now?
Yes.
Wow, that's great. So Mr. Durham is looking at how the whole Trump-Russia thing started. You have another U.S. attorney. Can you give us that U.S. attorney's name, or is that something you're comfortable doing? Or?
John Bash of Texas.
John Bash of Texas is looking specifically at the fact
At unmasking.
38 people, 49 times unmasked Michael Flynn's name, and probably other unmaskings that took place in the final days of the Obama-Biden administration. Is that accurate?
Actually, a much longer period of time.
Even before that?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. I appreciate that, and that's information that the committee did not know. Are peaceful protests violent, Mr. Attorney General?
No.
Do peaceful protests destroy businesses?
No.
Do peaceful protests injure officers?
No.
Do peaceful protests attack civilians?
No.
Do peaceful protests burn down buildings?
No.
The video we played, it's hard to watch. It's really hard to watch to see that happening in our great country. But there was the start of it was almost laughable, where you have the reporter saying, as a building is burning behind him, it's not generally speaking an unruly protest. It's mostly just a protest. I mean, it's almost laughable when you have the reporter saying, I guess he's saying it's not a fire, it's just a burning building. I guess he's saying it's a peaceful burning building. A few weeks ago, well, let me ask you this. I want to go right to this. Is defunding the police a rational policy?
No, I think, if anything, I'm more concerned that the police be adequately funded today and get more resources. A lot of the things we need to do to address some of the concerns people have about what they saw in Minneapolis are going to take some resources, some of the training that we have to do. And one of the difficulties in our country, it's not a difficulty, it's a fact, we have 18,000 law enforcement agencies. Most of them are very, very small. And so we have to find a way of training, making sure the training is pushed out.
Is it dangerous? Dangerous to defund the police?
It's extremely dangerous.
Extremely dangerous. And some of the ordinances you're seeing cities pass are also dangerous. Are you familiar with the letter that Chief of Police of Seattle, Carmen Best, sent to business owners and residents in that city?
Yes, I am saying that, she cannot protect she can't do her job. Her police force cannot do the job because of
Exactly what she said. Gives officers, the policy they're trying to pass, thank goodness the court stopped it, the policy they're trying to pass gives officers no ability, and she emphasized no, not us, not you, Mr. Attorney, not me, gives officers no ability to safely intercede to preserve property in the midst of large violent crowds. She also said in that letter, and again, she's taken the leadership and responsibility to tell the business owners, the citizens, that she's supposed to serve. She also tells them in that letter, I've done my due diligence on informing the council numerous times. So she's saying, I tried to tell them, these people won't listen to me. And then finally she says this, and this is the scary part. This is why it's so dangerous. She says this in her letter, Seattle police will have an adjusted deployment. That's a nice way of saying, you're on your own. We can't help you. That is how scary this defund the police. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. These same cities sent you a letter last week. The same week Chief of Police Best does this to the residents and citizens of her city. Her mayor sends you a letter blaming you, blaming the federal government for the violence that is happening in these cities. That is how ridiculous the left's position has become. I appreciate the work you're doing, Mr. Attorney General. I'm over time. I yield back.
So I hope you guys enjoyed those clips. Yeah. It's so disturbing what's happening in our country today, and I don't know what else to say. I'm just thankful to God that I'm alive and that I'm here, and I can reach out to all of you and share His love with you. And you know, they'll try to silence us all. They'll come for us all. It's just a matter of time, because they hate us, because they think that we're inferior. They truly believe that we are the problem and that we need to be basically exterminated. You know, there were other dictators that thought like that. There were other sick-minded people who thought like that, and history ultimately showed them for what they are. And in the long term, they will be exposed for what they've done to us. They will be exposed for these crimes that they've committed against us, and the way that they've, you know, discriminated against us and harassed us and abused us and put us in a position of, you know, constant anxiety, fear, and it's something that, you know, hey, it is what it is, right? We're getting through it. So a few more things before we go. Obviously, I can't share my Twitter links because Twitter suspended me. You can also find me over here on Twitter, though, or on Parler, I should say, and that's at JustinformedTalk. So you can find me over here. Plus, I'm on justinformednews.com is the official website. BitChute.com/justinformedtalk is the backup channel. And I highly suggest you guys go subscribe over here, too, if you haven't yet. And also, don't forget, Patreon is a way you can support this channel, because they've done everything they can to put me out of business. They started with the monetary. Now they're just attacking me outright. They're launching their, you know, subliminal campaigns of censorship and intimidation. And yeah, I couldn't have got through this without you. You know, I got to support my family, and you guys keep me able to do this through your donations here and on GoFundMe, where I have it if you want to make a one-time or anonymous donation. But thank you for your support, guys. I don't know what else I can do. Today's kind of been a weird day for me. I've not been feeling that well, but I knew I had to get this video up because it's just that important. So, yeah. And finally, before we go, we do a segment at the end called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace. And today I want to share an incredibly powerful verse out of the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, where we left off yesterday, verse 16 to 18. It says, "Therefore we do not give up, even though our outer person is being destroyed, our inner person is being renewed day by day. For our momentary light affliction is producing for us an absolutely incomparable eternal weight of glory. So we do not focus on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal." And that's what I'm trying to focus all my efforts on, guys, and I hope you do the same. Even though they attack us, they try to destroy us, they try to pick us apart piece by piece, and they launch all their weapons, and they lay traps, and they hate us, you know, don't focus on that. Because the moment we focus on that and lose focus of God is when we're doing God a disservice and we're not living up to our potential. And I hope I live up to my potential. I hope you guys live to your potential. I hope our nation is saved by God's grace, because it is truly greater. And I know that, as it says right here, we don't focus on what is seen, but what's unseen, because what is seen is only temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. So just take that message and remember that God loves you. You're saved. If you haven't had a conversation with him in a while, or you're feeling overwhelmed, or any of those things, reach out to God, open your heart. And yeah, it's just like it's like one of those things where I know that God will win, and God prevails, and God will save us from all this. And I just pray that that we continue, even though we are afflicted for now. So that's my message to you. Thanks for watching. Remember, hit that subscribe button while you still can, and hit the like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. But that's going to be it for me. Thanks for listening to me, guys. It really helps. And that's going to be it. Thanks for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed, and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.